So tell me a little bit about your problem.
Well, we have this set of stairs between our main floor and our lower level. And you'll see some of them are cracked. They make a lot of noise. And the color's different. We have a nice light color upstairs when we redid that. And these are quite dark. You know, we've done a lot of projects around the house, but this is one I'm not sure where to start.
Okay. So you want to tackle this project?
Absolutely.
All right, great. Well, the stairs are amber colored because it's obviously an oil-based urethane. And there are a lot of problems. Stair tread's loose, so it's noisy. And there's a crack. And there's gaps over here that all need to get filled. You know what? I can get you started if you think you can finish it.
Absolutely.
Let me give you a little bit of anatomy of this stairway, on all stairways in general, really. So it starts right down here with this vertical board. This is called a riser. Then we have a tread, and so on up the stairway. On each side, we have our skirt board, and that just dresses up the sides for the stair tread and the riser to end. And to dress the stairway up a little bit, under this nosing, they place this scotia molding, and that really just hides that crack. It just dresses it up or finishes off. And underneath all of this is the structural part of the stairway, which are called the stringers, and that holds everything up so you can walk on it. Now to get started, the first thing we're going to do is remove this little scotia molding so we can then lift the stair tread up to cut all the nails. So now I have to get underneath between this joint right here and the underside of the tread to get to the nails and cut them with a long metal cutting blade. So the first thing I want to do is I want to pry this tread up just a little bit to get the blade in there. And I want to try to get the blade in between the top of the stringer and the underside of the tread because I just want to cut the nails, not the string. All right, let's see if I can pry that up now. Okay, so now you see this part of the tread right here where it meets the riser? This is called a rabbet cut right there. That rabbet creates a tongue right there, and that tongue fits into the dado. The reason you do that on a stair tread, wood will expand and contract over its width this way. If it's fastened to the stringers and it was tight against the riser, when the wood dries out, you'd actually end up with a little gap there, and dirt can fall down behind it. So that's why you do a dado and a rabbet cut.
Okay.
Now before we go any further, I want to tighten up all these risers right here that we can get to, bring them back against the skirt board. And to do that, all I have to do is get my hammer in here and bang the board out. Now to hold that in place, I'm going to insert a shim right in back of it. To hold the shim in place, I'll put some glue on the shim and drive it in. I'm going to do that on all of them. All right, now that our skirt board and our risers are tight where they meet, we are ready to start cutting the stair treads. Okay. Now this is a piece of 1x12 red oak. It's been around for years and you can still buy it today. Bought this at the home center. It's 3/4 of an inch thick and 11.5 inches wide. But these are too wide for your treads, so we're going to have to cut them down off the back. I don't want to cut it off the front because there's a nosing on there, and we want to leave that there. Okay? Now, it's tricky to cut these because they have to fit in between two walls or two skirt boards. But if I was to take this piece that I've cut square and I put it in and I drive it in tight to the riser in the back, but push it over, we have a big gap against the skirt board. Okay, so we have to cut that custom cut. It's a scribe cut. Take the same board and I bring it over here again, square on this end. I bring it in, I put it tight to the riser, and I have a gap here, but it's on the front. So these two lines, or these two cuts, are not square or parallel.
Okay, so how do we fix that?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to scribe or make a template in the middle. All right, so what I did is I took one of the old treads and I cut it a little bit shorter so it slides right down in here nicely. The first thing I want to do is I want to put a mark somewhere on the riser. I'm just going to use that as a reference. Next, I'm going to take my paper, put it in, and I slide it across, keeping it tight to the riser. I just take a straight edge, and it could be anything, but I'm going to use my small combination square. Take it in, lay it on top, and I slide it in so it's tight against the skirt board. And I hold it down, I mark across there. I'm going to drag it out and do it again out here. Now I'm using a short piece as a guide because there's a little bit of a taper or a dip right here. If I used a straight one, it would bridge that gap, and then this cut would have a space in it when I laid the new part in. Okay, now before I move this, I want to take and put a pencil line on from my reference line off my riser. And now I'm going to slide it all the way over, keep it away from the wall slightly, making sure that I'm tight against the back, and do the same thing on this end. Put it tight to the skirt board on this side, hold it down, and mark this right there. I don't want the paper to move. Bring it out, slide it in, make the mark. Now I have both ends scribed, but I don't have the length yet. So what I need to do is, this is my first mark that I made off of this. Now I need to make my second mark, which would be right here. Okay. All right, now we're ready to transfer our template marks to our tread. All right, there's a couple of things I have to think about. First of all, I want to slide this over so that the line is quite a ways from the edge. Okay. Next, I want to make sure that the template is even or flush with the back on each end. So I make it flush there, slide it out, and I make it flush back here. Now I have to make sure that this doesn't move. Okay, I'm going to lean on it, hold it, yeah, that'd be great. Take the same straight edge that I referenced from the skirt board, and I put it on my pencil lines, just like that. I don't want to cover them, I want to go right to the edge of them. Put it like that, and I mark it here. Slide it over, and I mark it. Make sure I can see the line, because I don't want to cover it. If I cover it, I'm going to be too short. Okay, so now, before I move it, I need to put my first reference line right here and mark the tread. Now I slide this down, and I put it on the second reference line right there, making sure that this is even on the back, flush with the back, and on my reference line. Okay, now I can't move it. I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I want to be able to see that line, and I mark this side of it, slide it over, and do the same thing again, making sure that I can see the line, and I mark it again. All right, so now I'm going to use my smaller saw because this is not a straight cut. I'm going to try to follow the line as best I can. Now we flip it over. Now the next thing we need to do is cut the rabbet to the back of the tread to fit into the dado of the riser. And we'll do that with a router. With the tread still off, I want to clean up the risers with my sander to make them flat and smooth. Now your existing risers are pine, and you wanted to make them look like oak, and we can make it look like oak with an oak veneer rather than tear them all out and try to get the new ones in.
That's a lot easier.
It's easy to make them out of veneer. And this is just a peel and stick. We'll cut them to fit and stick them on. All right, now we're going to glue and nail the treads in place. The adhesive will act like a little bit of lubricant when I push it into the dado. do some 2.5 inch 8-penny finish nails in there to keep it nice and tight against that construction easement. Well, there you go, Eric. 3 treads and 3 risers, all done. What do you think?
Oh, it looks so much better already. And I'm really glad we didn't put that scotia on.
Well, it's a nice look and it goes good with this type of house.
Absolutely.
So we've done 3. Do you think you can handle the rest?
No problem. I know what to do now.
All right. It's a big job, but I think you can do it.
I got time.
Now you got some work cut out afterwards. You're going to have to prime and sand the skirt boards a little bit because we damaged them as we cut and bent the treads into place. And then you're going to sand them lightly and put your finish on to match up top.
Any advice on doing the finishes?
Well, this is a stairway, and a stairway in my house, you know, people want to use the stairway. What I like to do is I do the stairway just before I go to bed. I'll have it all prepped, ready to go. The big problem is you've got to go up the stairs and then go down and do it that way. But nobody has to go on the treads all night. They dry. In the morning, you can walk on them.
We can make that happen.
All right. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you so much.
All right, Eric.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.